Some were in the vast African wilderness with rolling plains, dense jungles, and mist-covered mountains. The sky burns orange as the sun sets. There is this traveler walking along a narrow dirt path, his face hidden beneath the shadow of his hood, carrying seriously a worn Bible at his side, heading to the last tribe, of course. They called me a fool, said I would never return. They say that no outsider had ever entered their land and lived to tell the tale. But to me, the call was clear. The burden was heavy, and I knew I could not turn back. Here is a hidden village deep in the jungle, huts woven from reeds, warriors sharpening spears, elders gathered around a fire, chanting. In the shadows, unseen eyes watch the approaching stranger, and it's here that the journey begins. The missionary pushing through thick jungle, crossing rivers, climbing rocky cliffs. Nights spent alone under the open sky, whispering prayers into the wind. Days turned to weeks. My body grew very weak, my feet torn, painful and bloody, but my heart burned with the mission. The last village now appears in the distance, untouched by time, hidden from the world. But as I step closer, I see spears rise. Do you know? They saw me before I saw them. They moved like shadows, very silent, swift, their weapons gleaming in the fading light. And quickly I raised my hands, not in fear, but in peace. Now the chieftain is stepping forward, tall, draped in lion skins, his eyes filled with suspicion and authority. His voice was like thunder. He did not welcome me. He did not trust me. I was an intruder, an outsider. I was sitting alone at the edge of the village. Children peek from behind trees, giggling before running away. Women carry baskets, whispering. Warriors watch every move I made. I was not their enemy, but I was not yet their friend. I had no weapons, no riches, nothing to offer but the words of a God they did not know. Over the time, I was attempting to speak, struggling with their language. I could draw illustrations in the dirt, trying to explain, but they do not understand. So I spoke with actions. I gathered wood, drew water, sat with the elders, listened before I spoke, and slowly, the walls between us began to crack. Then something to test my faith happens. A sick child, feverish, gasping for air in his mother's arms. The village witch doctor dances around him, chanting, but the child only grows weaker. The mother's eyes, full of fear, turn to me, the foreign missionary. I had no medicine at that time, no charms, but only faith. While kneeling down, placing my hands on the child, whispering a prayer, the villagers watched in tense silence. Moments pass. Then the child stirs, his breathing steady. His mother gasps. The crowd murmurs. The chief watches from a distance. It was not my power. It was never my power. But they had seen something they could not explain. However, this was lighting the fire of persecution. The village divided. Some drawn to the message I shared, others were filled with anger and fear. Warriors were whispering in the shadows. The chieftain's eyes burned with uncertainty. Some listened and believed, but others saw me as a threat, a danger to their ways, and so they made a choice. One night, while asleep in my hut, saw flames of fire, smoke all over, the crackling roar of fire. On waking up, while coughing, stumbling outside as the hut collapses behind me, the warriors stood in the darkness, and the chief stepped forward. His voice was very calm, but final. Leave, now, or the next fire will take you with it. The next day I was standing at the village's edge at dawn, looking back one last time. Just one last time, with tears flowing from my eyes. The people stood in silence. Some avert their eyes, others watch with sorrow. The chief remains unreadable. I had come to bring the message of life, but now it seemed I was leaving in silence. I was now walking away, disappearing into the jungle. Rain begins to fall, washing away the ashes of the burnt hut. It was painful down in my heart, but had I failed? Had my words meant nothing? Or had the seed been planted? And now this is amazing. Oh yes, years later in the same village. A young man kneels before a simple wooden cross at the edge of the village, whispering a name. The same name the missionary once spoke. The name Jesus Christ. Oh, amazing story. The last tribe was never truly lost. Go therefore, go, and make disciples of all nations. Matthew 28:19. We are called to be fishers of men.